Hey everybody, Nicholas Snow here, your promo homo, and this is the season premiere of Notes from Hollywood on PromoHomo TV. Notes from Hollywood profiles, spotlights, and profiles people who are passionately pursuing professions in the entertainment industry. And my guest today is none other than Billy Clift. He's a very prolific Emmy-nominated filmmaker, known for many films. One of them, A Road to Freedom, The Advocate celebrates 50 years. And I actually got to share the moment of the gala red carpet premiere of that film in Hollywood. I broadcast live some of the most historic footage that I have, thanks to the historic footage that Billy, in fact, used in that documentary. Clift has created a vast body of work that consists of a wide range of different genres, such as the feature film Jacked on homeless youth, ridiculous cult comedies Baby Jane and Hush Up, Sweet Charlotte, reality TV such as Food Fetish and Behind the Bar, over 35 music videos of different musical styles, short form documentaries focusing on people who have made significant contributions to society, like Arron Walton, a CEO of a black public relations firm, to lawyer Gloria Allred, most of us know her, who has been a strong force in underserved rights. Billy strives and he achieves to continually push his creativity to find new, fresh ways to tell his story. Also joining the broadcast a bit later is one of the actors in his, I don't know if you would call them a stable. Would you call, well, Billy's not live, I can't ask him yet, but I love it when directors find a group of actors and they work with them over and over again. I want to be a member of a director's group of actors one day. At any rate, I have a very exciting show for you coming up in the season premiere week on PromoHomo TV. And by the way, Notes from Hollywood started as a column in 1990. I launched it, and it was published as far away as Australia. And I'm just very excited that decades later, I'm still reporting Notes from Hollywood, and I'll be back with Billy Clift and Mel England after this. And without further delay, let me welcome to the stream. We'll be two streaming queens, Billy Clift. Hi, Billy.
Hello, how are you, Nicholas? So good to see you on here.
I'm so happy to have you on the show. You know, we've been talking about you coming on the show for a long time,
Yeah, a
and
million years.
it's since we were two, and
Yes, exactly.
it's finally here.
Yay!
So we're live, but you know, I publish links to the YouTube version of our broadcast days in advance. And someone, the moment that I launched that, commented, and his name is Christian Ortega. And the moment he saw you were coming on the show, he said, "Hola, muchos gracias, amigo." And when I went live just now, added Hola, PromoHomo TV. So in my worldwide multicultural audience, you already have a fan that's tuned in, and one of my regular viewers and supporters, Rock May, is watching live. So I always love to acknowledge the audience.
I love that. I love that. Well, thank you, you two, for coming on board.
So Billy, I know that I think I'm probably older than you, but nevertheless, we're kind of nearby each other in age proximity,
I'm
and
32, so you're 37.
we'll go with that.
Yeah.
Uh, but pretend we're a bit older for the purposes of this question.
I can
Um,
pretend.
when I was a young girl, no, when I was a wee youth, um, I remember I was accused of being a young girl. My pronouns are he, him, and his, but there was no representation. There was very little representation in the media for any of us. And the first times it started to happen, it was sort of astounding. And you fast forward decades, and we have riches of LGBTQ content, too much to consume, too much to watch, which is a luxury problem. Describe that arc from your perspective.
Oh, definitely. I remember as a child, though. I mean, nothing was on TV or in the movies unless they were going to kill you. It was always something evil and negative that was out there if they happened to be gay or lesbian or anything else in between. So it's been a fascinating to watch. Then maybe I can't remember what people called it when there was this kind of noir type film happening in the 90s that started with things like Swoon and The Living End, and a whole bunch of films around in that area, which was the first time we started seeing some positive or at least some normal people on film. And then it's slowly been shifting. I mean, still we had to have, like Brokeback Mountain, we had to have two straight people playing gay people for it to evolve. Or Tom Hanks in his Philadelphia. I was going to say Philadelphia Story. That would be a very different look.
It would, yes.
And we see it slowly evolve toward now. I mean, I saw Bros on Thursday night at the Cinema Diverse in Palm
That was
Springs.
opening night of
Opening
Cinema
night.
Diverse. And how it is the new film Bros? How do you like it?
I thought it was actually quite
putting
wonderful.
you on the spot.
No, it's quite all right. I actually loved it. I laughed. I had a good time, and I thought that it was it was definitely in the same genre of Sleepless in Seattle meets Bridesmaids. It was the absurd comedy, but it also had this romantic comedy of the older period as well, kind of mushed in together. And I thought it was really quite good. I was entertained, and I cared. So hey, that's good to me, because there's a lot of movies out there, especially in that genre of the romantic comedy, that don't work. So I thought it was fun, and it was monumental because we had Apatow and we had all these important people who put money into this film, and it is a worldwide release. That's phenomenal. So I'm telling everyone, we've got to all go out there and support it, because I need to be able to get Universal to back me for a feature. We want that. Of course, somebody like Ryan Murphy has done an amazing thing for television. I mean, it's phenomenal, all the stuff that he puts out, and some of it I'm quite jealous, because there's some similarities in my taste, especially when you go back to Hush Up Sweet Charlotte and Baby Jane. I have that absurd kind of thing that he loves to go for, and so I'm a little jealous of that, but I'll show him a thing or two someday.
I just wanted to jump in. I put up the homepage of cinemadiverse.org. We're between their two major weekends of programming here at the LGBTQ Film Festival in the desert, the Palm Springs LGBTQ Film Festival, and I wanted people to have a chance to just kind of get a taste of that website. But you had. I didn't premiere my season until Monday, so I couldn't have you on before your busy weekend at Cinema Diverse. But tell me about your screenings at Cinema Diverse this weekend and how they went.
Well, it went great. It was a wonderful event, and it was normal. I mean, for the first year, in the last few years, I've had so many films in different film festivals all over the world, and of course, I couldn't go to any of them. They were all virtual, and so it was so exciting for me personally to be able to go and just see all the films. And I would start early in the morning until the last show, and then go out to Hunters or whatever with a gaggle of us.
I
But
think that's you and I have had our first conversation at an after party after a film at Cinema Diverse one year. I do
yes,
believe that's how you and I met.
I'm sure. I'm sure it was. Definitely. I seem to remember the same thing. And yes, I edited and produced a movie called 100 Years of Men in Love, which was on Saturday night. It went incredibly well. I'm very proud of it. It really is an editor's movie. David Milburn was the director on that, but it's masses of photos. Hugh, I don't know if you ever saw the book Loving, and if any of you out there have or have not, then get it, because it's an amazing book of photos of these two men who had collected photos from the late 1800s until like the 1960s of gay men together. Some of them we're not 100% sure, but I would say the majority we know that these were couples, and they're just the most poetic, beautiful pictures. And it was my task to take them and put them and organize them in a way that the audience could ignore them, enjoy them, and really watch and look at each one, and move into their faces and into what their hands were doing. And it was just I hadn't seen it in a year when I was editing it, and it was just I was just enthralled as I was when I actually edited the film. So I was very excited at that. I have a new TV series called oh God, what's it called? It's called Silver Lake, but they've Not So Straight in Silver Lake. They changed the name.
It's
And
a limited series. It begins this month. It's starring Calpurnia Adams, Daniel Franzazzi, Diego Escobar, Johnny Costri, and it's a spin-off of Here TV's Falling for Angels episode, Silver Lake, a Tales of City-style TV series with Calpurnia Adams as Mrs. Madrigal, different spelling than Tales of the City.
exactly. That was the name
I
I
was
wanted.
prepared for you, Billy.
Good job. Thank you, because my brain is just
Yes.
it is what it is. I mean, I was just shooting today all day until an hour ago. So I'm a little tired, but that's a good thing. I have no problem, and I love doing this. So we screened the first episode of Not So Straight in Silver Lake, and it went really well. It was great to see it up on the big screen. I had finished it not that long ago, the edit, and I never actually watched it from beginning to end in leisure, so to speak. I watched it only to make sure that there weren't any glitches, so that I could upload it to the Here TV Vimeo account, so that they could start getting it ready for screening in October, streaming in October, actually. And so
Screaming.
it was great to be able to see it up on the big screen and see if anything I needed to fix. But I was very, very happy, and the audience was loving it, and they were laughing, and I felt very good about it. And then they also showed My Sister's So Gay, the first episode of the second season, which I directed and edited the second season of My Sister's So Gay, and that's with Lonnie Anderson and Deborah Wilson and Terry Ray and just Ray Jong Chong. It's a wonderful little web series that was a lot of fun to shoot, especially because of Lonnie. I mean, what a delight she was to work with. And I've got some other things that I want to throw at her, and that I'm writing right now. So I'm very excited.
Fantastic. I want to bring up another image to set up your introduction of this film, and then I'm going to show the trailer. At which point, I would love for you to introduce our next guest, because I know you've worked together many times. So, but before you tell us more about No Goodbyes, I haven't seen the film, but just the trailer is kind of a gut punch. From my perspective, just seeing the trailer for this film is a gut punch. And uh, there are films that come along about very important issues that I know are important, and I'm so glad they were made, and I'm so glad people are watching them. But I ask myself, do I have the strength to watch this? And I'm at any rate, that's my reaction to just your trailer.
I
So,
understand, and you
um,
you have to take care of yourself.
why don't you set up this trailer for us, and then with delight we'll welcome Mel, who's been waiting so kindly backstage.
Yeah, just a little bit about the film. It's two true stories that Simon Okura and I wrote. It's something that I've been wanting to do quite a while. I'm working on a documentary about a painting that was stolen by the Nazis, and I was in Warsaw at the different museums, Holocaust museums that there are, and I saw so little on the LGBT world. And I came back really realizing that I have to do something about that. So I first went, okay, I know exactly what I kind of want, what I want to do, but I'd love to find somebody who is more of an historian. And so Simon Okura has been doing plays on the Holocaust, gay plays, for 25 years. So I grabbed him, and he and I came up with this short film, which is to make, it's basically a proof of concept to make a feature film about. But it's three men in the Holocaust, and what's so also wonderful is that we were able to get an amazing Holocaust survivor to pretend to play the young Otto who's in the past, and he describes what it was like to be in the Holocaust. And it actually is an actual Holocaust survivor who read the short and said, this is incredibly crucial. He's not gay, but he knew them and knew how much more terrible it was even for them being gay in the Holocaust. They were the lowest of the low, and that is something that's repeated more times in the short. And they were the scum. And I mean, already being Jewish was being scum, but no, was even further. They would do everything to humiliate them to the highest degree. And so I thought it was crucial, especially after being in Warsaw, and Warsaw right now, or Poland in particular, is incredibly homophobic, to where they're even giving people decals that they can put in their window that says no gays allowed. It's they're calling all gays are pedophiles. I mean, that's what the government is saying. It is vile and
Poland right now.
in Poland right now. It's
Ugh.
incredibly sad. This documentary that I'm working on started out as a sweet telling of a story of these two gay men who were giving a painting back that they found had been stolen by the Nazis at the Warsaw International Museum, found their way into their home, giving it back, to finding that in Poland that the amount of homophobic dialogue that occurred while they were there that was just troubling. And so the documentary actually turns into a statement about that. So
Well,
anyway, this was something I felt it was very important to create.
let's roll the trailer, and we'll come back and bring Mel onto the show.
You see, it was illegal to be gay. No freedom for us. No reparations. No justice. You see, someone denounced me. They would take you into custody and force you to name others. I understood. They had no choice. I had no warning when the Gestapo came in for me. No goodbye to my family or to the one I loved. And with nothing but the clothes on my back, you have no idea. No idea how terrifying it was.
Wow, I mean, you and Mel lived that story. I've just seen the trailer, and it's very emotional. So without further delay, let me welcome to the show Mel England. Hi, Mel. Thank you for being here.
Hi, you guys. It's great
Hi.
hi, Billy. Just thought to see you again.
Exactly.
It's great to see you, Nicholas. Thank you. It's good to see you again.
Nice to see you. Just because I'm a director, I want to try a shot I've never done right now. Oh, we're going to go with that shot.
Very good.
We're going to go with that shot. So I'm going to move back a little bit. I'm way too close to you. All right. So, well, first of all, Mel, congratulations on your body of work.
Oh, thank you.
And for always finding a way to honor your craft on stage and in film. I would love to know, and I'm going to let you tell the story, Mel. How do you and Billy know each other?
Wow. You're not the first person to ask me that question. I don't exactly remember when I met you, Billy. I feel like it's at one of your parties, but I don't even remember. And isn't that odd? Like, suddenly we knew each other and suddenly we were just really great friends. It's like, I feel like we became great friends right away. And then I do know that Terry Ray, at some point after Terry Ray, who was in My Sister's So Gay, and also I'm in Electricity with, and I've been on your show here talking about electricity. But at some point, Terry had a reshoot of My Sister's So Gay. And so he asked me to come be a stand-in for the actor. The actor wasn't available to do that scene that day, and they needed somebody to be his shoulder. So I was the shoulder of this guy. So I get to say I was in a show with Lonnie Anderson now because my shoulder was in the show.
Your shoulder is famous.
My shoulder is 1 degree. Anyway, it's always fun to go help your friends and do stuff like that. So I had a blast, but that wasn't when we met. I know we had met before that. So Billy, do you remember? I can't.
No, I think you're right. It was probably at one of my parties. Maybe Terry Ray brought you or something like that.
Yeah.
Maybe I ran into you. We started talking, invited you, and it just evolved from there. And yes, I remember. I had forgotten about that you were a shoulder.
I've got Baby here, and she's barking at the cat.
There's Baby.
Sorry, Baby.
I stayed there at Mel's over the weekend, so I was their house guest.
Yeah.
How lovely. So you met at a Hollywood party.
Yes, my Hollywood party, darling.
Yes.
Which I do have a few a year, and they're always almost 100 people, and but we do have a lot of people in the industry there, and it's fun.
Well, maybe you want to invite a friend of yours who has his own show and invite you on it.
Well, of course I would.
They're definitely fun. They're definitely fun. That's for sure.
That's good. And I'm 21 years sober, so I can at least tell you what happened the next day.
Oh my God. Nicholas will have to compare notes because I'm 25 years sober. So.
Oh.
Well, actually, let me correct that. I'll be 25 in October.
Well, fantastic. Good for you.
Yeah,
Good for you. And Billy, you're still a partier, right?
Oh, yeah. I mean, I'm just out every night.
Believe me, Nicholas, I've been around Billy enough at parties and stuff, and Billy's a lightweight. He doesn't tie it on the way I used to. I'll put it down.
No, I'm not very good at it. 3 drinks and I'm like, okay, that's enough.
No, if you have the ability to do that, more power to you. Hats off to you. Have a drink on me. So I think that I'm correct that you both have a movie in post-production that you worked on together. So let's talk about that project. And first of all, Mel, do you just assume you're going to be cast in Billy's next project? Are you that close to the inner circle now?
Well, I mean, it keeps working out that way. But actually, before we did No Goodbyes, we had done the short of what is this feature now, Here We Are, that you just asked about. But prior to that, we did another project called The Virtual Connection together. And that was Tim Christian, who wrote this lovely film, had approached me. And then because I'd sort of been talking to Billy, oddly enough, I was going to recommend that Billy possibly direct or talk to Tim about that one. And then I somehow said, well, I'll talk to you later. And then by the time I talked to him about it, he'd already figured it out and talked to Billy. So it was sort of kismet that we all worked together on that project. And so it's just sort of worked out this way. And but on this feature, actually, it was a short that I was in development with my partner, who's my co-star in the film, Will Jackson. And we had decided that we wanted to be, Will is this really wonderful, had just moved from, new to California, had just moved to LA, or was in the process of moving to LA, African-American actor. And we got together and we're having coffee. And I just suggested, hey, you might want to make a short film. Because he was saying, what do I do to break in? I was like, we'll make something. And then he was like, oh, well, I already have some films. And I was like, really? And then he showed me his films, and he had several short films he had already done. And when I saw them, I saw that I thought he was a really wonderful actor. And so I thought, wow, I really want to work with him. And so we came up with the idea just after we were talking about what could it be about, to make a film about racism in the gay community, because he's African-American. I'm actually, even though I am very white presenting, I'm half Hispanic. So I have my own version of growing up with racism, seeing the way my mother was treated when I was a boy in Texas, very dark-skinned Hispanic. So I was very passionate about this subject matter. So we wrote a short film, and I asked Billy, and he looked at it and he said yes. And then we shot the short film. And that was in November of 2019. I think we did 3 or 4 days, right, Billy? Yeah. And then we were finished shooting. And then Billy, if anybody who knows Billy's films, Billy takes his time. It's one of the things I really love about Billy as a director. He will, when he needs to, he'll take the time. And so we had more than enough footage for a short film. And he said, I'm going to really have to cut this down, to make it fit, because they want it most at 20 minutes is long for a short film. So, and we maybe had 40. I don't know, Billy, is that right?
Probably.
So I was sort of joking, and I said, well, we could just shoot a few more scenes and we'd have a feature film. And Billy was like, that's a great idea. So we decided we'd make it a feature, and then COVID happened and everything stopped.
Oh.
And oddly enough, we had just days before the shut. I mean, literally, on a calendar, it's maybe a week, but right before the shutdown, we had a meeting with the first draft of the feature version of the film, and so we're just getting it sort of into place, and then COVID happened, and it sort of forced everything not only to stop, obviously, in production in life. We were all in lockdown, but it also made us stop with the writing process and reevaluate, how are we going to incorporate this into the movie, because the movie is taking place in present day. So Billy and I had many conversations. So we've been writing and developing it, and I don't know how to put it. Billy, we decided it's almost like the themes of the racism that were already in the film within the gay community. It just expanded because we were suddenly looking, by the time things settled down and the vaccines were coming out, at the same time, there was the whole election thing going on, all of the xenophobia and craziness in our society. And also we had, of course, Black Lives Matter happened, George Floyd. So all of these subjects came to the surface, and we figured out a way to expand the story. So now it's not really about just the gay community. It's sort of about who we are. You watch these two guys sort of get together and, coming from very different backgrounds with all these problems that they have, and start a relationship. And then in the midst of all of that, you see the society almost deconstructing. And so it forces them and their community of friends to really pull together. And I think in an odd way, this is the first time I'm saying this, I feel like it's a metaphor for what we've always done as a community. one of the things that Billy and I talked about a lot during No Goodbyes was, of course, we were sort of transferring, I'll speak for myself, my own experience of being an AIDS survivor, and into the, it's very easy for me to access being under threat of extinction, when you're an AIDS, or when you almost died of AIDS. And then we were going through COVID. So all of that stuff was it was just, sadly, we're very familiar with these things. And so in a way with this movie, it's just, I feel like we have all figured, I feel like the gay community has figured out how to survive for centuries. We just know this stuff. And so that's what I really love about this film, is it's really a testament to that.
Yeah, it was very, very exciting that it was exciting while we were going through it, that all these other things started happening in the world, because it just started taking our film and getting deeper and deeper and deeper. And we went right along with it. And so it is traveling through the pandemic and traveling through all the different things that came up from it, from Trump on, and how it was affecting these people, these few people that were together. And now what also was interesting is now they were in lockdown too, all together. It's basically between the two couples and one other who lived in the same building, who knew both of them separately, that brought them together. And that's Christina Lease from Chucky and 90210 and so many other different films, especially in the 90s, where she was very popular, but an amazing, wonderful actress. Just so delightful to have her be in our film. So it's kind of the threesome of them, and she has a little girl. And it's just an interesting dynamic there in this film. I'm very excited about it. I'm editing it right now, and I've been very blown away by watching the performances, as well as how it's all coming together so well. It's a film I've never done before. I've never shot a film in segments. I mean, we seriously would do 3 days here, 3 days there, 4 days there, a day here, until we felt we were done. And I've never done anything like that before. And I found it incredibly freeing, and we still stayed on point. I mean, that was the biggest thing, is to make sure that you're staying on point, to make sure that you're not like going further away. Is just to make sure that we're just, that we're making sure that everything is there, and that we're doing it so that it furthers this story along, and that outcome, I believe, is going to be pretty amazing. So
what was really great about it is that as we went along, because we had a script, and then we'd come in to film certain scenes or with certain actors, and then as we got to go into that little section, we could also fill it out in ways that we hadn't really anticipated. So it's almost like, if you were baking a cake, but instead of trying to do it in 2 hours, you had like weeks to take. And so you can really prepare. It's really
get the right icing.
Yeah.
And we have Sally Kirkland, who plays Mel's mother, a Trump supporting alcoholic. And she is as wacky as wonderful as you can imagine. The dynamics in this are really interesting.
Sorry, Billy, go on.
Yeah, from even experiencing a Karen at a gas station. I mean, it's just all the things that we're experiencing now. These two guys are having to deal with in this amount of time. And
personally, it's exciting for me, because talking about Sally as my Trump supporting alcoholic mother, what happened is that we got to really kind of explore what was in the short. My character had these issues around relationships and stuff, and then we got to find out, he's basically, what we would call in recovery an ACOA, and so adult child
of an alcoholic. Yes.
Right. So we got to go there, and then, and I have this ex that I've broken up with out of an abusive relationship, where I had recreated my relationship with my mother with this other guy, played beautifully by this amazing actor, Gregory Zarian, who just sort of breaks your heart because I mean, not only is he lovely to look at, but he's just, you just feel that. And isn't that the problem when you love somebody with an addiction problem? You love them, and that's what kills you. So we got to really explore that on the recovery, angle. Look, I don't care if people drink or don't drink or whatever, but it's a core part of the human experience, and so I'm very excited that we got to explore a lot of that stuff.
I just want to refer to what I said earlier when I was joking about it. I don't care if people drink or not. I mean, if people can drink, drink. If you can party, party. If it works for you, more power to you. Yeah. Just to remind people, because we spent a lot of time talking about the film, remind people again of the title and sort of the timeline when you think this will hit the festival circuit and hopefully, get picked up for distribution. Or has Here already bought it from you? Do you have advanced deals with them?
No, we're going to search. We're going to kind of be more open. I work, of course, with Here a lot, and I love Here. And this film, I'd like to see a little bit broader than just streaming on Here. We'll see. I mean, but I would love to open up some other possibilities for this. This could really be a broad, even though it's about two gay men. It's still it's broad. It hits a lot of notes that a lot of people can relate to. So I think that we can possibly get this a little bit bigger.
It's called Here We Are is the title.
And just to recap, it's a feature film in post-production starring you, Mel England, Will J. Jackson, Christine Elise, Sally Kirkland, Elizabeth, is it Regan?
Actually, Elizabeth Regan is her stage or screen name. Okay. And Elizabeth Regan has this incredible cameo as this Karen at a gas station that literally sort of explodes the movie. Remember that lady, and I don't even remember what it was, but some lady in Central Park that called the cops.
Totally.
Right. It's that kind of a moment where somebody is just so disconnected, but because of that moment in time, it sort of forces everything to just crack open. So it's a really
character.
It's a really wonderful. She gives a lovely performance.
So in Here We Are, an interracial gay couple navigates racism and bigotry in a world in turmoil. When Phil loses his mom to conspiracies and booze and meets John, a lawyer with it all, they finally face their buried past to discover who they really are. And it's written by the two of you along with Will J. Jackson. Incredible. So I'd like to give you each a closing comment. Anything that we haven't addressed in the broadcast that you would like to talk about? Anything important that you want to promote? We'll start with you, Mel.
Well, one thing I'll say is I'll never use this LED light again because it's flickering.
It's making you.
Yeah, it's giving me that thing. And if I was going to make a pronouncement, I'm tempted to say it is going to be a good garden.
Okay.
Which is a Betty Davis line from a movie she did with Gina Rowlands.
You seem too young to know that, but
I saw it on reruns on TV.
Okay.
And anyway, so I don't know what to say other than I'm really excited. If people want, they can see No Goodbyes on Amazon Prime. I hope they will. I'm really looking forward to 2023 when Here We Are hits the shelves, and I'm still, or it hits the screens. They don't go to shelves anymore, right, Billy?
Right.
That doesn't even happen.
I also want to push Jacked. We forgot about Jacked.
Oh, Jacked
has been out for 2 months on Here TV. It's a feature film about a young gay boy who comes to Hollywood to try to make it, and he ends up alcohol, drinking, drugs, and prostitution. But the LGBT Center, who Mel is one of the people who from the LBTG. Look, all that.
That's easy for you to say.
All the things comes to the rescue to this poor boy, and it's based on a true story. And it's something that I desperately wanted to do for many years, actually. And then I was describing it to one of my guests at a party, and he said, "That's my life. That's my story." And I went, and he's a budding screenwriter. So I said, "All right, let's write it together."
It's
So
really a lovely, lovely film. I feel so fortunate that I got to be in Jacked because it's a beautiful story about something that's really important. We know LGBTQ youth are the highest percentage of homeless youth are LGBTQ plus. So not only is there a homelessness problem, not only is there an LGBTQ acceptance problem, but those two issues converge. And I think as a gay community, I hope that it can be part of a larger conversation for how we can really help, those who need help,
Well, I'm so glad you took time to be on the show. I admire both of you a great deal, and give Terry Ray my love. He contacted me when he was launching the very historic actor studio classes in the
Yeah.
Palm Springs area. I was not in production at the time, but I'm always rooting for him.
It's
And for
actually
you.
Actors Lab. I'll just say
Actors
that.
Lab.
Yes.
Actors Lab. Thank you for correcting
And
me.
since you mentioned Terry, I will say that we are still in process to take electricity off Broadway. We're actually having meetings this week, and there's a whole. We were supposed to go in fall of 2020, as you remember. So it's been on pause due to COVID, but we're looking at 2023 as well. So
Okay.
Yay!
yeah.
So I wouldn't be a promo homo if I didn't show this.
Of
So I now got a full-time job to fund PromoHomo.TV. I just lost one of my AirPods.
I hear it when that happens to
Yes.
my earring. Yeah.
Yes, I just got a full-time job to help finance PromoHomo.TV while I encourage more subscribers, and I'm producing a nightly show every night. So I wouldn't necessarily be able to accept an acting job right now unless it was very well paying and I could leave everything else behind. But I have some important clips for the viewers out there. You can find them all at that link. And I have a viewer comment from one of my friends and supporters, Lance Druckerman, who says, "Thank you for today's show." Thank you, Lance, for watching. And
Thank you.
I want to thank you both for being on the show, and I really look forward to the next time that we come across each other in person.
Fabulous.
Well,
I'm
now
sure
that we're
I'm
not
sure
in lockdown, yeah, maybe let's do that. You're in Palm Springs, right, Nicholas?
I am.
Okay.
Yes.
What's the deal?
We can make it happen. And
Okay.
I know Billy's invited me to his next party
Exactly.
with enough notice for me to make plans to be at it.
Exactly.
So
December 3rd.
all right. You already have
You
the
got it.
date. Oh,
Yep,
I got to
I know
write
the
it down.
You got to make, when you're doing a Christmas party, you've got to have the date already.
Honey, I would be happy for any date on the
Wow.
calendar or otherwise. So, at any rate, with that, thank you both for being on the show. I really appreciate it.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Thank you so much. Hugs and kisses to you both.
You too. So that is Billy Clift and Mel England joining me on Notes from Hollywood, which offers profiles of people passionately pursuing professions in the entertainment industry. And I'll be back tomorrow with another exciting show. Have a great night.